Hello, hello. Welcome to another video. We'll try talking a bit farther from the microphone as per usual. And as you can see today, we have here Pokemon Red. And yeah, very special game for everyone. Not an exception, to be sure. Let me check what's the button here. I'm using I bought an 8-bit to M30, which is the Genesis controller essentially. And I mean, I've tested a little bit today. It seemed really good, but I'll test it out for real with my next game, which would be, I think, Sonic Boom, with the next subject we'll talk about. Today we will be chilling out here. I guess let's use Ash, right? Why not? With some Pokemon. And on the comments there, if you guys would like for this playthrough to be continued at a later date, because I usually just go through the initial parts of the game up until the point where I ran out of subjects to talk about essentially, and then that's about it. So we can get a single game and continue with it like for a long period of time. I think that would be nice as well. I used to speedrun Pokemon Red way back when. I used the, if I'm not mistaken, I used the Blastoise route for a while and then the Nidoking route. Today it won't be like that at all. My favorite Pokemon is a very uncommon one, as you might imagine. It's actually Charizard. So I even have a decent-ish time with Charizard. I think 1 hour 20, something like that. Actually 2 hours 20, yeah. But today, since I don't want to keep training for forever in Viridian Forest, I will choose Squirtle, the third Pokeball, right? It's the middle one. As you can see, I remember a lot about the game. There you go. And after the battle with Gary here, we will, or Blue, if you will, we'll start the subject on the video proper. I'm using the Super Game Boy color palette here. Hopefully this will work out. Bulbasaur is for sure an easier fight than Charmander because of the accuracy on tackle versus scratch. Let's see if I can win this battle. Obviously this is not edited, this is just the IVs that the game chose for me. Just run with it. Hopefully it'll be okay. I'm not sure if I should have used a potion there. Oh no, the tail whip. Looking good. You know, is it looking good? Get a crit here. Anytime now. Alright, we got this, we got this. There we go, nice. So, subject of the day is delete social media. A very strong subject, for sure, and a very strong title. But this is one subject that I have a very strong opinion on. I really dislike social media as a whole. And I'll go over like a series of reasons why I think that you should consider deleting it from your life, if you will. And yeah, like personally, I have not used social media for how many years now? I don't know, 6 or 8, something like that. It's a lot of time, way back when, before there was these modern social media websites, I used, in Brazil, Orkut was a really big thing. And after that, Facebook, as everyone, right? And Facebook was actually the last social media I used. I never graduated to any one of the newer ones like Twitter and Instagram and TikTok and whatever else. Which is a good thing, I think. And yeah. So the only social media I actually use these days is LinkedIn, and by using, I mean I have a profile on there. It's just because it is harder to, I wouldn't say get a job, because you can get a job without LinkedIn for sure, but it's nice that you have your resume there and people just ask you to link your resume. It's already in there. You don't have to like link a PDF or whatever. And there's the connections, and so yeah, there are some features there that I think are useful, but going on the whole rabbit hole of like making posts and trying to gather a following on LinkedIn, I think that's kind of whack if you ask me. But having a profile there, I think it's all right. So yeah, I'll be mostly talking about, I guess, Twitter, TikTok. I have a list here. Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest, Facebook. It's not as big these days, right? It's most boomer people that use Facebook, but I guess it's in there as well. And YouTube, in a way, I would mostly focus on YouTube Shorts. I think that YouTube videos generally are okay for the most part. But yeah, those are the ones that we'll be focusing on today. And you may be asking at first, why such a strong title? Why like use less social media? Is that okay? And you know what? I think if you can, like completely excise social media from your life and not use it at all, I think that would be better for you in the long run. Now, the first reason I have here is actually a series of reasons that have connection with themselves. When you use social media with your friends at first, right? So if you have your friends and your family on social media, and you can think to yourself, hey, that's nice because I can keep in touch with them, and that's true to some extent. But the thing is that in social media, people only put their best, the best parts of their life forward, right? It's not. I don't remember the name. There was a social media that was like you had to make a post daily on a random time, and you basically had to post a picture of yourself as you were at that point in time to exactly avoid this, which is just like showing the best parts of one's life. But that didn't like work out too well, I think, and I don't know how that's doing today. It's been more than a year I heard of that. But the thing is that when you go into, let's say, Instagram, and you see photos of your friends and family and friends of your friends, and it's inevitable you start adding a bunch of people, right? After a while, you end up having more people than you perhaps should in your contacts there as following. And you just see these people having like, they're just traveling abroad, they're just on the beach, they just bought a new car, or they just went with their kids somewhere, or they just got a new girlfriend, and you know, you're like, man, everybody's doing so well, and I'm here just I'm sitting looking at my phone at work, or I'm sitting in my house doing absolutely nothing on a Saturday night. And it's really easy for you to get depressed, you know. It's like, man, everybody's doing so well, and it seems like I'm not doing as well as I should, I think. And it's a very bad thing for your mind, you know. You kind of start doubting yourself a little. You start thinking, maybe my life is not as good as I thought it was. And if you keep doing that for a long enough time, for a long enough period, it can easily lead to like some mental health issues, some depression, you know. Let's see what I'm gonna buy here. I get some antidotes, I think. Shoot, is good. Grab 5 Pokeballs is nice. Oh, they don't have potions in here, that's right, okay. I'm mostly gonna roll with Squirtle for the most part, and if I see a Pokemon that I want, I'll capture that. But generally, I'm gonna catch Nidoking. I've done that plenty. And the Pokemon in the earlier routes are not as exciting, I'd say. And for team building and whatnot. Obviously, there's a bunch of channels that do challenge runs, right? I watch a lot of Scott's Thoughts and J Rose, and man, there's so many people. Gym Leader Matt. And those channels are really, really great if you want to look them up. It's very nice if you want to especially at close to sleep time. I just put the cell phone and just watch some runs. It's really really calming for me. But yeah, this is not going to be a challenge run. It's just going to be a regular old run as any other. And so, yeah, like having excessive contact with social media can be really taxing for your mind, and like you start doubting yourself and your life as a whole. You start thinking that you're not doing as well as you should at a given point in time. This is doubly bad if you start following, or if as many people do, follow like celebrities and all, and then it's just like it's terrible because you see everybody just having like absolute dreams of lives. You know, they have not a new car, they have a new Ferrari every week, or they buy a mansion. And they're taking trips everywhere and meeting other famous people, and then here you are sitting at your home, not much going on. It's really easy for you to start thinking, man, my life just sucks, man. And the more you do that, and the more you see that kind of content, I guess the easier it is for you to just start really slumping, you know, and thinking less about yourself. Whereas if you don't have contact with that, then you actually start living the real life as it is. You know, life isn't perfect. You don't have the option of just having the row of good moments in your life. You know, you're gonna have bad times. You're gonna have days that's just gonna be, oh, I just woke up and worked the whole day. I came back home. I didn't really have much energy to do anything, and so I just lay down in bed, and that was that. I watched a couple YouTube videos, and that's okay, man. That's fine. It's everybody's life is like that, and you're just waiting for the weekend so you can do something special. You can go to the park, or you can go cycling, or something else, and that's life. That's okay, you know. And you start like by not comparing yourself constantly to other people. You start like having a more realistic outlook. Oh, it poisoned me, fuck. More realistic outlook on life, on your life in general, right? So that would be my first reason, and a very big reason at that, on why you should generally avoid. I guess I'll use an antidote here because a potion will go longer. So next I have here addiction, and fortunately I haven't felt that myself, but not only I have read about, but also seen people that they just can't leave the phone alone, man. It's just insane. Like you're talking with them, and then they just pull up the phone out of the pocket, and you see they're looking on Instagram, and then you're looking at TikTok, and you're sitting right there, and you're thinking, man, can you just not look at the phone? Would that be okay? And then they do that for a while, and you resume talking, but then you, I don't know, get up and go to the bathroom or something, and then you come back and they're at the phone once again. I'm not gonna touch much on the subject of kids this video, because I have talked about that plenty on the past videos, but this obviously goes double if you are interacting with your kids at night or something, right? You came back from work, and then you have that time to play with them and to be with them. And if you just pull out your phone and keep doing stuff in there, seeing social media for the most part, it's gonna take away from that time, you know? And obviously not an ideal thing to do. It's best if you focus on the task at hand. I think that I really like to fill time, especially if I'm doing dishes or cooking. I like barbecuing every weekend when I can. Is either podcasts or YouTube videos that are in a podcast format that you can just like blank the screen and just listen to the video. And that's, I think, a nice middle ground on not having to just be with your thoughts the whole time, though that can be a good thing. Is this for real, man? On the first hit? Okay. but at the same time, like, entertaining yourself. But it's also good if you can to turn off the phone and just be with your own mind for a while, if that's okay. So that's a nice thing to alternate between, you know. And the notifications, man, is just so much, you know. If you have, and I have worked with advertisement, like in advertisement companies before, you know, and with media and everything. From the IT side, I didn't really work as a programmer or a marketer or anything, but I know how these things work because I had to keep the systems that serve that kind of content up at all times. And you know, those apps are developed so that they maximize engagement. So they want you to look at your phone and to be inside the app all the time, if they can help it, you know. So there can be some quote unquote fake effort on, hey, there's this reminder here that they throw you every now and again so you stop looking at the phone. And there's no repels here, right? I think it's only on fire red. Yeah, there's no repels. It's going to be a very fun mount mode, as you can imagine. But for the most part, these apps, they want to maximize engagement. And so the algorithm, what is shown to you, is trying to maximize you just seeing one more post, you know. You see this little short video, or you see this photo, or you see this post, and then the next one is going to be suggested to you because they know how you think and what you have seen in the past and what you look at the screen for the most time. Like stuff that you quickly swipe, it's not going to be as valued, of course. And hopefully this is going to be an easy fight. I mean, my level is pretty okay. And so they're really trying to just keep you in the app, you know, just keep you in there, scrolling, or doom scrolling, as they say, right, for hours on end. And obviously can't be a good thing for you, you know. And you have to have this conscious realization that that's what's happening, because if you don't know, then it's just easy for you to get carried away and waste your life away just doing whatever. Oh, that's 3 sand attacks now. It's gonna be a fun time. Okay, we got it. I don't think I need a potion here. I think I'm good. It's 4x effective. Both Geodude and Onix should be fine, right? And with advertisement, it's the same thing, right? We're trying to maximize the likelihood that you're gonna click on our ad and ideally purchase the product that we're advertising to you, a conversion, if you will. And so there's all this profile building on your preferences and your browsing habits and everything. I'll touch on privacy later, but it's nice for you to have this realization of what's actually happening, because if you don't, then you may, you know, he's faster than me, so see if he, yeah, no, it's okay. I was thinking about buy there for a second, but it's no problem. Here we go, level 14 already, man. So you have to be really, really careful about these apps in your life, you know. That's my general point here. Well, what else I have written here? I have also the fear of missing out, and that goes hand in hand with the addiction thing, which is like you have your phone in your pocket, even on vibration, like it's in silent mode, and then it vibrates, and you have this impetus of just, man, I'm gonna pull my phone and see what it is, and it's a WhatsApp message or it's a Telegram message. Okay, you read it. It's nothing important. You put the phone back in your pocket, you walk some more, or on top of the table and start working again, and then what happens? Phone vibrates again. And it's a post by someone on Instagram or whatever, and then you see the post, and maybe you're just like, I wasn't really doing that much anyways, and so you start, I don't know, seeing some more things, you know, on the screen. And next thing you know, half hour went by, and then you just put your phone away and you're like, all right, let's really do some work in here. And then your phone vibrates again, and it's Twitter now. And you know, it's you're constantly in this anxiety state of like, man, I have to check out what's happening. If my phone vibrates, I have to pick up my phone and see what it is. And that's not healthy, man. Like you have to have your mind free from these kinds of worries for a longer period of time for you to actually do focused work, you know. So if you're studying, for example, you're studying for in your high school, you're studying for university for a test or something, or if you're like doing some focused work with a spreadsheet or a Word document or programming, which is usually my case, you really need this time to just be your time, you know, that your mind is just focused on the thing. And there's several ways that people go about that. There's the famous Pomodoro method, which is like, well, I'll just turn off my phone and work here for 4 or 5 minutes, and then I'm gonna look at it for 10 and then get back. Something like that, you know. And that can work. I've done Pomodoros quite a bit, and it's definitely an improvement. But like, if you can just put the hacking phone down, man, and just like, you know, try and focus, that's even better. Obviously, there is a possibility that something actually noteworthy happens. And if that's the case, then probably should buy more antidotes, I suppose. Something noteworthy happens, then you probably should look at it. So I won't be hypercritical here and say, hey, I'm special, I never look at my phone. It's not like that at all. I do look at my phone. I use the on-screen notifications like everyone, I suppose. And so I just click on the power button. It's an Android phone. And I just take a quick glance. If it's an email, just see a preview of the email and if I need to respond to it immediately or not. If, well, since I don't use social networks, that kind of helps in the sense that it's never anything on Twitter or TikTok or Instagram or whatever, right? So that's never a concern in my mind, which is good. But I guess if you use social media still, there's that possibility. So yeah, I guess that helps, you know. In terms of IM, the only thing that I use is WhatsApp, which is like the biggest instant messaging app here in Brazil. So you kind of, for better, for worse, you kind of have to use it. And so there's that. Then there's email. And yeah, that's about it. So those are the only 2 scenarios where my phone would vibrate. And for WhatsApp messages, I usually mute everything that's not like a relative or my wife or something. And so if it's like a general group of people, like my friends from university or something, it's not gonna actually vibrate on messages. This is a joke, man. Really? Okay, bro. Insane. The rate at which I'm getting poisoned here is just getting robbed. And so that's nice, you know, it's really easy to focus. And so usually I personally don't use Spotify, though I know it's a very good service. I use YouTube for the most part. But generally I just put on some songs, like a playlist, and just head down, start working. And you know, I can focus for 1 hour, 2 hours at a time. And it's really good. It's really, really good. My problem is usually YouTube videos, if I'm entirely honest with you. I kind of go into a habit of, hey, let's watch this video here before I start. And so I'm there watching the video and maybe browsing Reddit or something, which I guess Reddit is a social media, but I don't find it as problematic. So there is certainly the possibility of you just getting lost on the Reddit homepage. So I won't say that's not a thing. Since I have no more antidotes, I guess we'll have to go to the Pokemon Center here. And there's our water journal. But yeah, generally, if you remove the social media apps from your phone and from your life, it's gonna make it a lot easier for you to focus on stuff that you're doing. Right? Next thing I have in here is impact on sleep. And this is a big one. I see my wife, she has a lot of problem with that. A lot of problems with that. I have tried talking to her about uninstalling Instagram, which is the one she uses most. for a few times now. No success yet, but I'll keep on trying. But what I see happens is that we go to bed and it's okay, let's go to sleep. And then just look, and there's the bright screen on her face. And she's just looking at some. Let's grab 3, I suppose. I need escape rope. Let's get you. Oh, hang on, not a potion. Where's the escape rope? 2. There we go. Now get a paralyzed heal as well. Get you. There we go. And then I go to sleep, right? So I just doze off, and it's, I don't know, 11 or 10:30, 11, whatever, after the kids went to sleep. And then I sometimes wake up, I look, and there she is on the phone still. I'm like, hey, let's turn off the phone, let's go to sleep. And yeah, it's hours, man. It's hours. I have a similar problem in the sense that my issue is that I like watching YouTube videos. But what I do generally is I purposely put something that is quote-unquote boring. It's not boring, but it's something that you don't have to focus as much. For example, like some game retrospective. I love those. I can recommend you some channels if you if you'd like that. I like King K's channel a lot. I like Paraspector, really great channel. There's a lot of others that I watch, but there's Pariah 365, I think, which is part of the Sonic community, which is something that people have been watching my Sonic videos a lot, especially the one that I have on Sonic 2. And I'm halfway thinking that people watch the video more for the Sonic gameplay than what I'm saying, which is probably right, and makes sense, right? But yeah, like there's lots of others. This is not a recommendation video, but I can make one of that in the future. And so what I'll do, I don't have YouTube Premium, I use Revast, but if you have Revast or if you can install Premium, that's fine as well. And then you just, I'll just turn off the screen and put on a pair of wireless headphones and just listen to the video. And sometimes, if I'm not as sleepy, where's Mega Punch? I don't remember. I want Mega Punch for Misty here. I think it's the next stairs, the next set of stairs actually, but it's good. We'll go here. As Zubats will begin. And sometimes I'll go like through 2 or 3 videos on a single night, which is not good. It cost me a whole hour of sleep. I didn't know this guy was here. But generally I find it easier to just like find myself sleeping, and then I wake up half an hour later, I realize, man, I slept again, and then I turn off the video and I go to sleep. Oh yeah, GameSack, I mentioned. GameSack is the one I watch the most, I think. I just love Joe and Dave's content. It's like just too good. If you haven't watched GameSack, please do. It's excellent. And yeah, I find that's a bit less problematic. Obviously, the best thing that you can do is just not have the phone at all. And so you just turn off the phone. Well, turn off the phone is kind of hard because something actually important may happen. So you may need to answer a call. Someone needs your help during the night. But if you can just like not browse social media or videos or anything, obviously that's better for you. But if you had to choose between one or the other, I'd wager that a video format that you can just listen to is a lot easier to make you sleep than, you know, actually that's looking like Mega Punch actually. There's no repels here, guys, so we're gonna have to suffer through the... No, it's HP up. Well, okay. Mega Punch is indeed on the next set of stairs. Now, if you're looking at more common social media like Twitter or TikTok or Instagram, those you actually have to look at the screen, right? So, because the content is very short-lived, and that's I think that I'll comment on shortly as well. I don't think it's very good. But then you see a 30-second, 40-second video, and then what do you have to do? You have to swipe to see the next one, and then you have to swipe to see the next one, and the screen is there on your face the whole time, the blue light, and you're not sleeping. You're just looking at the screen, and the hours are going by, and that's just really bad for you. So that's another reason why you should consider not using social media. And now that I mentioned, let's go into the subject of well, I mentioned that, right? Let's go into the subject of, what was it? Let me try and remember. I just said it. I was paying attention to the game. Let's defeat this guy and think about it. Oh, level 18 already, man. It's a lot of levels. Man, Voltorb's so fast. Actually, Electrode is the fastest Pokemon in this game. You didn't know that. I used to play using a link cable with my friend, and he would use like Alakazam and Jolteon, that kind of Pokemon. And then one day I figured out that this was before there was Bulbapedia or anything, right? So I actually had the first generation Game Boy with a link cable. And I figured out that Electrode is really fast. And so I put Electrode on my team, and I sent him out first, and he had Alakazam. The first time that happened, right? It was like, another easy victory. Little did he know that I was prepared for that, and I immediately Thunder Waved him on turn 1 and just made his Alakazam absolutely useless for the entirety of the fight. So that was a nice one there. The matter of actually discovering the Pokemon and not having research available to you, websites, everything was a really nice feeling that we had back in the day. No, we don't have that anymore. I suppose you can just see everything on Google these days. So yeah, I'll go on that in a future video, I suppose. Well, let's see. Next thing I have in here, I didn't remember what I was gonna say. Let me keep on talking and maybe I'll remember it. There's an ether there, I think, on that rock, but I won't get it. So next I have in here is trolling and cyberbullying, and this is for those people that mostly use Twitter, I'd say. So if you use Twitter, this one's for you. And man, people just get into the dumbest arguments on the internet. It's fun / sad to look at, you know. If people just like tweet out inflammatory stuff or see tweets about inflammatory stuff and engage with it, and just everybody talking very aggressively to each other and disagreeing on things that are not really that important, you know. And man, it's just such a waste of time. Especially with, I don't know, opinions on movies or opinions on politics. I think that's just, you know, it's not like you're gonna actually convince anyone of your political position, you know. If you go in there and you say, oh, capitalism this, or if you say, oh, the liberals that, nobody cares, man. Nobody actually cares about what you're saying. You're not actually gonna see someone that's gonna read your tweet and be like, this guy has a really good point, man. I guess I was wrong all along. And then they're just gonna change their mind. That's not what's gonna happen. You're either gonna get people that already agree with you, engaging with your post, and they're gonna, I don't know, say that you're a good guy or something, that they agree. Or conversely, they're gonna like engage with you negatively and say that you're a dumbass or something. And then you're gonna respond to them, and it's gonna be the cycle of people throwing accusations back and forth and nobody actually getting anywhere, you know. It's just such a waste of time. It's such a waste of time. And this goes for Reddit as well, you know? So if you like engaging on discussions in Reddit, and I'll say that as a connoisseur of Reddit, that it's an absolute waste of time as well, because it's not like you're gonna actually convince anyone of anything. Now Reddit is less bad in my opinion because it's you can post topics, right? So it's not as good as forums. I use forums for a long time, and we don't have forums that much these days, but generally you can introduce topics that can be like just educational, or just, hey, I'm trying to do this with like this game and I can't, can anybody help me? Some people are gonna say that you're dumb, that they should have just Googled it, but generally I think that it's okay in my books. Especially depends on the community. So I browse the iRacing subreddit a lot, and for the most part I think it's really good. People actually report useful information in there. And obviously there's the useless posts of I just won my race, or the SR doesn't work, or whatever, and you can't ignore those, you know. But Twitter especially I think is really bad for this, which is like engaging with content and engaging with people that are not gonna aggregate anything for you or your life. Just plainly a waste of time. And then there's a whole influencer situation, which exists both on Twitter and on Instagram and TikTok and everything, which is just people putting out videos that are purposely made so you can have the maximum amount of engagement. And like you have a short, or YouTube Shorts is the same thing, right? And so people are putting out these short videos that just some AI voice, or they're Subway Surfers, because people apparently can't watch a video for a minute now. That's just absurd. Oh, I remember. Let me type that down. Okay. Attention span. That's the thing that I wanted to talk about. Ironic, because I'm playing Pokemon and I lost my focus, and so maybe my attention span is not that good. But yeah. The whole influencer situation, man, people just like putting out videos and stuff so they can maximize the amount of reach that they have. And you know, I mean, for the person that produces the content, I for sure can see it, because they can get some sort of sponsorship and they can get ad revenue on that, and alright. But for you, the consumer, you know, I think that it doesn't aggregate much. Like, think about the last swiping spree that you had on TikTok or whatever. If you were to watch, like, let's say an hour of shorts, of videos, and then I were to ask you, hey man, do you remember what you saw on minute 20? What did you learn today from here, you know? And it's very vapid content. It's stuff that just go into your eyes and brain, and just getting forgotten shortly thereafter. So it's getting forgotten just shortly after, you know. It's mental fast food, if you will. I'll not be as, I don't know, pretentious. I should say, oh, you should only engage with the most I don't know, useful things for your mind. You should be at all times studying, and you should be at all times improving, and that is true. And if you can do that, that's great. I personally am not as disciplined as I should be in that sense. But I mean, there's a gap in between, like, I don't know, a documentary that you watch on YouTube and teaches you some useless thing. However, it goes for a whole hour, you know, and you have a beginning and a middle and an end of the whole subject, and you're actually engaging with what's happening there. So that's one thing, and another is just like having a 30-second video that teaches you nothing and just on to the next one, you know. Next thing I'll touch on is privacy concerns. as we go into Misty here, because I want to get Bubble Beam if possible. I guess I'll do all the gym fights. Let's teach Mega Punch here. Do I want Super Potion? I'm thinking yes, but I'm not gonna go back to the shop. Let's remove Bubble. There we go. So, if you used the internet for however long, you know that people are constantly harvesting data on your usage patterns and your preferences and everything, and it's very invasive, you know. I've worked with cybersecurity for a while now, since I think since 2012, I think, so it's about 10 years now, more than 10 years actually. And so it's you should be very wary of the information that you share on the internet, and social media is just the ultimate sharing opportunity. You know, people just can't help themselves, and so they're just telling everyone where they went, what they like. Well, if you have kids, where your kids study sometimes, you know, just stuff that generally is not a good idea, you know. And so you should be very, very careful with what you share online. Now, a very easy way to be careful with what you share online is to not even have the possibility to share in the first place, which goes back to the theme of this video, which is deleting social media, not using it at all. Because if you don't have social media, oh, there's nowhere to share stuff, right? How would you share that in the first place? You can't. And in this case, it's a very good thing. And so you may say, well, I want to share stuff with my friends and family. I can make my profile private. And yeah, you can do that kind of stuff for sure. But there's other ways to share that are less. I'm a big proponent of open source stuff, so you could have some sort of open source cloud service where you could share stuff in there, but I know that's not feasible for most people, so there's that. That's okay. But in any case, you being careful with the supersonic is not good. Okay, we're good. You being careful with what you share is generally a very, very good thing for your privacy and your peace of mind. So every time that you hear one of those, oh, there was this massive data leak on such and such company and they lost X amount of passwords and that and the other. If you don't have accounts on many of those places, it's going to be less of a problem for you, you know? And you may see the time in there is I had to make a pause in this video, so it's not actually an hour and 36, but here we are. Yeah, let's see if we can defeat Misty on the first pass. And we can get Bubble Beam early. So what I do in terms of like sharing, I mostly use WhatsApp, which I know is a Facebook company, so I am sharing unintentional data with them there. Well, I guess not much I can do in that case. But there's the directness of the thing, you know, a photo or a video or an idea that I share with my friends or my family is only going to them. Obviously, there's the possibility of one of them sharing that information online, which one would hope would not happen, right? But it's for sure possible. But however unlikely. Do I want Tail Whip here? I guess not. I guess we're okay. He's not gonna kill me with Tackle anytime soon. Mega Punch is really hitting a lot here. And then we come back to the attention span argument, which was the one that I was gonna go back earlier. And I don't know if you have felt this. I certainly have. The more I deal with stuff that it has shorter and shorter duration, I'll bank on not getting a crit here. Let's see. Okay. There we go. All good. And so the more I deal with shorter and shorter content, I have felt that I am less patient, you know, when I go interact with a half an hour video or 1 hour video, or worse yet, I'm going to read a whole chapter or a whole book, and I see, man, it's really hard to focus, you know. It's kind of my mind wants to wander and do something else. You read a page and it's like, all right, this is not fun, let's do something else. And that's really bad. Because you can't deeply focus on anything, you know. You're always seeking the next high of dopamine, you know, of just finding something fun and using that to entertain yourself. It's a never-ending cycle of just going to the next video, going to the next thing. And I caught myself, this was years ago, all right, so I'm not talking about something that is at all recent. Doesn't pay me anything for that, right? Let's sell this HP up then. Oh, this guy doesn't have super potions. Well, that's good to know, because I thought he had them. Alright. And now I'm kind of a dumbass. Okay. It's only in Vermilion, but alas. And so I caught myself way back when I used to use Orkut and Facebook, as I told in the beginning of the video. And I felt like I was getting less and less patient, you know. And fortunately I caught myself early enough where I could remove myself from that kind of situation and try and interact with longer form content as a matter of policy, you know, as a matter of something deliberate that I'm trying to do to not decrease my capability of focusing on longer form content. And that has had a very good impact for me, I think. Even professionally, when I go and I buy an online course, for example, I go and watch some video that is for my career, for example, stuff from Molly Rocket here on YouTube, or I like watching Primagen, though that's more entertainment, but there is some useful information there for sure. And let's do our bubble beam thing now that we have the attack. There we go. I wonder if Bubble Beam is more powerful than Mega Punch against Ivysaur. We'll see, I guess. And so that has really helped, because these days I can really buy an online course and just sit and, you know, I'm gonna watch this class. And I'm sitting there for like an hour and a half straight, if necessary. I'm just focusing, pausing when necessary, taking notes and everything. And that's a hard thing to do if your brain is only used to very short form content, really tiny bursts of activity, you know? Oh, it's a Bulbasaur. I thought it was gonna be an Ivysaur. There you go. Guess this makes it all easier. Why was I worrying? This guy's a joke. This guy's a joke. Oh, there you go. I got the Gen 1 miss. Very cool. Very cool. There you have it. And so try it, you know, really try and see if you can interact with longer form stuff, and deliberately, if you take this advice and like reduce or remove social media from your life, you see that the effect on your capacity of paying attention on quote more boring stuff, you know, more less approachable stuff will really ramp up, you'll see. And you know, I think that is really about it that I have for this. Let me save in here. I think that is about it that I had to say for this video. Generally, the thing I'm talking about here is that social media as a whole is not good for you. Maybe if you interact with it professionally, like if you're someone that deals with advertisement, or you deal with marketing and promotion, or I know you're an influencer and you're watching this and you're like, well, man, I make money from that. Oh, then I guess you can't do much in that case, right? I could make an argument here of, well, if you're an influencer, this is actually also bad because they're the other. But, you know, if you're making money, I can't really blame you too much. It's like, but you're gonna stop doing that and do something else. I suppose if everybody took this kind of advice and used less social media, then you wouldn't be an influencer in the first place, but I digress. Right? But if you're a quote-unquote normal person, as I am, you find that cutting social media from your life is really only gonna do good for you. I don't really see many, if any, drawbacks, to be honest. And so, yeah, I mean, maybe I'm not thinking of something here. So if you think, hey, I thought this really good use case for social media that you didn't think about, so here it is. I guess throw it in the comments and I'll try and consider it and maybe cover it in a future video. But right now, really not much is occurring to me. And yeah, as usual, thanks for watching. I hope you like this video and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.